How to train millionaires and get paid pretty good money. Well, as a personal trainer, the only thing you really have to do is solve their problem. Most people have a strength goal, a muscle growth goal, a fat loss goal, or just, I want to be a worker outer. I want to be fit. I want to be this person that does these things. Cool. All of those are fantastic goals. But what a, what I end up finding is that all those goals are based in insecurity, lack of belief in themselves, trauma, and things that they do not want anybody else to know. And that's where I come in. I've been able to enter the homes of people making really good money, either by their own business or working for someone else. And I'm able to get to know that person on a personal level and just care. I mean, it's as simple as that, but it's not, right? There's a lot more to it. But if you can just care like that changes everything. And be as authentic as you can be. Like, I don't share the same views as all my clients. I'm from a very small town in North Carolina, about 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 people. And I live in Los Angeles, and I've made my career as a personal trainer only in Los Angeles. I've never trained anywhere else. I was a wrestling coach in North Carolina, but as far as a personal trainer, I never did that until I moved out to LA. And I don't have the same views as my clients, but that doesn't mean that I can't care about them as a person and hope for the best and wish the best for them. And that is the job of a trainer. Like, when you train long enough as a man, talking about me, my training has been the one of the core things in my life that has allowed me to not end myself, to not destroy myself, to not destroy relationships in my life with my family, my friends, my fiance. I always forget what to say. Fiance, partner, girlfriend. Um, but but that has been something that I can always do and feel productive and feel accomplished and proud of myself. And so I know I've trained my whole life. I know you can't tell me that it's not that. That is what it is. It it just gives you that confidence. Like, when you show up, I was telling one of my clients the other day, showing up and getting the hard thing done because I'm here, I'm your trainer. I'm letting you know that I'm here now. I know you don't want to work out, and that's why you pay me. Okay? So we're going to work out, we're going to break a sweat, we're going to move, and we're going to feel better afterwards because you don't want to do this. And every time you do the one thing you don't want to do, which is train, which is work out, it's going to make you such a better husband, wife, friend, business person, just overall person to get along with, because that nervous energy, that friction, that frequency that you're on when you haven't swallowed the frog first thing in the morning, or got that work done, that hard thing that you need to do, you're not going to be the best person if you don't do that. So I'm here. We're going to get the workout in. We're going to do it. And we're going to have fun doing it. And I know you don't want to laugh, and you've had a rough day, and maybe you're going to get a divorce, and maybe your business is going up in flames, and maybe you can't pay me anymore. We're still going to work out. So I don't give a fuck. Like, that's just, yeah, that is how it goes. What else do I want to say on that? Caring about your client is really the core of training. And a lot of personal trainers don't really care about people. They just like working out. So it comes off. Now, what's funny is I worked at an Equinox out here in Los Angeles for a long time. And you have all kinds of trainers come through, right? And I started to see that personalities would match up with different trainers, right? There was one guy who was like type A as shit. One to two guys are really type A. And I could only get along with them so much, but all of their clients were type A. That type of personality gravitated towards that type of personality in the trainer. And if that's what they want, cool. Now, I'm going to be honest, that's not what they need. A type A person, like Brian Johnson, does not need a trainer who is going to be like meticulous about every little detail all the time, because that's how he is in his daily life. Like, dude needs to have fun when he's working out. Like, we can do all the minor shit. Like, if your shoulder's hurting, we can do all that. But like, you need to have fun. So anyways, type A people usually train with type A people, but a lot of those trainers just don't care about people. And what I realized is all of the people I was training with who stayed with me long term would end up realizing that they had either trained with a guy or a girl who didn't really care. And they're like, oh shit, you actually care. And this is not just a transaction. I'm like, yeah. Well, what was your experience? Well, we would just show up and we do that. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I just can't do that. So, I like to get to know somebody. I like to talk. I like to talk about life. Now, some people don't, and that's okay. And I don't, I don't push that. But it's also hard for me to have like a conversation with someone that is surface level, because my real love in life is philosophy, and that encompasses so much when it comes to how we live, what we believe, how we think, what matters to us. And so for me, it's hard not to ask questions like that, philosophically based questions. And in the process, or as I trained people and I would start having conversations with people, came to find out that I was the only person in their life that they could actually talk to about life stuff. They had gone to therapy before just to talk, just to get things off their chest and say things, but they never had like a good partner in dialogue. And I realized, I was like, I love this. Like, I like talking to someone that is of a totally different background than me, totally different lifestyle. I mean, these are millionaires. And I'm like this guy, this guy from a town in North Carolina that, a couple thousand people, if that. I mean, when I was growing up, it was smaller than that, and and we're friends, and we're just talking. We're talking about life, man. I'm not asking them about their bank account. I'm not asking them for help in something like some business idea that I've got or something. Yeah, and I know for a fact. I mean, that's what's valuable to them. Because what's crazy for for high profile people, high profile clients that you train, or that I train, is, once people kind of realize who they are and maybe what they could potentially do for someone else, the relationship changes a little bit and it becomes inauthentic. And they can sense it. And I just don't want anything from them. Like, really, at the end of the day, I don't want anything from them because I want to make my own thing. I want to build my own shit, and I don't want someone else's. And that's a very hard place to be or to get to, because that's a lot of personal work that I've had to, do. Now, it does help that I was raised right. I have amazing parents that taught me to not, what's the word? It's not envy, but to not, I guess, desire other people's things. I have a problem of desiring things, but I don't want anybody else's thing. And maybe if you struggle with that, maybe you're like, what the hell is this guy? This guy's lying. But that's not the thing that I'm struggling with, is wanting someone else's thing and willing to take it and not care if they lose it because I took it from them or whatever. But I just know that there's no merit in that, and there's no real confidence or growth in taking what's not mine. I mean, how else am I going to say that, I guess that's the only way I can say it. But not wanting something from millionaires is kind of like this strange idea that they've not ever come into contact with. And I think that's why I have the career that I have. Now, authenticity and caring about somebody, it comes from, personally for me, it comes from me only wanting to help that person. We got a job to do. I'm here for an hour. We got to work out. We got to move our body, okay? Now, it's not going to be a therapy session the whole time. And sometimes my clients will try to weasel that in and get out of the movement portion of it. And it's like, no, we still got to move. We can keep talking, but we got to move. Because this is the thing that you will not do on your own, right? You'll talk shit to somebody, right? You'll rant and rave to your husband or your wife or a business partner or something like that. But I got to check you here, okay, cool. That's some bullshit. I can't believe that person did that to you. Timer just went off, so we got 10 more. Let's go. Tell me after the set. Hold that thought. Tell me after the set. Let's go. And that's how you do it. Oh, dude, let me finish. No. Shut the fuck up. Finish the set. I'll do the set with you. Do you need me to do the set with you? You're 50 years old. Come on. Let's go. Let's go, dude. And that's just how I roll. Like, let's get the work done, and then we can talk. We'll have a minute break or a 2-minute break or 3 minutes if whatever we're doing. Then we can talk, and then you can get it off your chest. And then at the end of all of that, you got your heart rate up, you've broken a sweat, you've moved, you feel more mobile now. We've loosened things up. You feel a little bit stronger, but then overall you just feel accomplished. You did it, you finished, hours up, you'll feel better. So, yeah, that's a hard thing to do, and I struggle with it at the beginning of my my training career. And I just don't like saying that. It's just like I just feel like it's like who I am. So it's weird to say it's a career. You don't want to interrupt somebody, but then, do you care about the progress? Do you care about these things, these certain things? If you do, then I've got to shut you up and get you to move and get you to work. And like I said, those things have to be: did we break a sweat? Did we move in different patterns that are going to improve our mobility? Did we work on some pain areas, strengthen those, take away pain? Did we get you out of your head in between the rest periods, during the sets? Were we able to focus a little bit, on something else, so you can lose train of thought and just focus on the set? Did we do those things? Okay, cool. If we're not doing them, like, I got to step up as a trainer, as a coach, and that there's a learning curve as a coach to getting that done, because it's so much easier to train kids. It's so much easier because you just punish the kids. You punish the kids a couple times, and then they start listening. They don't have this ego, really, like that an adult 55-year-old man does, that looks at you and all they see is the fact that this joker's telling me what to do like he's better than me. My bank account is higher than his. Who's this guy think he is? And then, we got to address that, and but yeah, it's way easier to train kids. But there's also a different type of gratification that I've gotten from training adults, because it is a little easier to train kids. Getting around an adult millionaire's ego, your boy, your boy. Hey, what can I say? I got some skills there. But it's only because I deal with my own, right? And that's the last thing I want to say about this is, like, you're dealing with egos all the time, and you just don't understand what happens to a person when they make a lot of money, because everybody's trying to make money, right? Because we have things that we have to pay for. And money is the only thing that we can use to eat, pay rent, pay for your children, and pay for yourself. But so everybody's trying to make money. And then when you become a millionaire, right? That's like the goal of every kid. At some point, a kid be like, I want to be a millionaire, And then these people do it, right? That's a very select few of people who actually do that. And then I train them. And there's an ego that develops around that just automatically. And it's no fault of theirs. Okay? It just happens. And what they do with it is up to them and their background and whatever, but I care about them, and there's an ego there that is interesting to me. because it's different than mine, but it's still an ego. And I deal with mine on a daily basis. And I talk to them about dealing with mine and what I have to do, that I have to pray, that I have to do breath work, that I have to meditate, that I have to stretch, that I have to break a sweat and work out, that I have to take time for other people in my life, for my fiance, for my family members, for my friends, and do things I don't want to do. Because checking my ego is the one constant thing that I have to do so that I don't continually be in my own way. That's what we're all doing. And when I show up as a coach to somebody's house, to a millionaire's house, and I say, all right, let's go. What I'm doing is I'm helping them check their ego today so that they don't ruin their life, so that they can get out of their way just a little bit so the damage isn't as bad. Because we all know, look, if you've done any self-reflection, you realize you're the cause of the majority of the shit in your life. You're the cause of your own unhappiness. I am the cause of my unhappiness. I didn't do this. I should have done it. I did this, and I should not have done that. That's what I'm really doing. And if you're a coach out there, and if you're a trainer out there, that's what you're really doing. You're helping your client check their ego for the day because they can't do it on their own. That's why they're paying you. The problem is when you're not checking your own, you're not growing in the ability to help someone else. That's what I was doing my whole life, which was I was actually not doing. I was checking my ego as much as I could my whole life, while trying to build a business, while trying to be a trainer, while trying to write, while trying to do all these things, while trying to learn philosophy and learn theology and learn psychology and work through my own trauma and do psychedelic therapy. And I was checking my own ego the whole time in my own way, but like not lying to myself that I was good. Like I don't need to do anything. And so the millionaires that I train, they see that, and they see that my highest priority is not money. And that's fascinating to them, because in that world, a lot of people prioritize money. In every realm, we prioritize money. So, to be a man who does not prioritize money as like, oh, I'm gonna treat this person different because of how much money they have, or what, it resonates with them. They're like, wow, okay, cool. That's awesome. So I hope this kind of makes you think, but I didn't learn how to do this. Like I didn't just discover this by myself. I had mentors along the way. And I'm not Ty Lopez talking about, I had a mentor. It was in this book. I literally had physical people that taught me. I had my friend John, who taught me philosophy and theology. He's got his doctorate in philosophy and theology. I had my buddy Matt, who really exemplified what I was trying to do as a coach and as a trainer. And I saw him doing it with adults. And it's what I had already done with kids as a wrestling coach. And I was like, okay, cool. You and I are going to get along. And we clicked. And, he trained Chris Martin for years. And when he passed from cancer, when he fell asleep in the Lord, it was us. It was me and Chris and a few other people that were by Matt's bedside when he passed. So Chris saw the authentic nature of Matt. I saw the authentic nature of Matt. That's why him and I, we're friends. When you coach people, when you really coach people, there's something that you get. And I was telling a client the other day, there's something that I get from coaching that I can't get with anything else. And it's this 60-minute time block where I cannot really think about me. And that's a blessing. I'm here for you. We're going to talk this out. We're going to move. You're going to catch me up to speed with what happened this weekend. What are you doing this week? What's going on? And I'm going to have that hour so that I don't have to stay focused on me. I can get off of me. So it's a blessing you're giving me. So, and I enjoy that dialogue, that transfer of ideas, that conversation that we're having. And that's why I love philosophy. If you look back and if you read Plato's Republic, all of Plato's dialogues, that's what it is. That's what his form of dramatic philosophy was, through dialogue. I say this, how do you say, you're expressing ideas in dialogue form, asking questions. And as I've done that in my life with other people who are receptive, finding someone who is receptive is very hard, but when you do, man, the conversations that you can have and the progress you can make as a person, trying to figure out somebody else and figure out your own self at the same time, is a great thing. So anyways, I hope you take something from this.